Yo guys, what's up? It is Ripe again, back with more legal advice. And today we will be doing a little experiment. I will have no text on the screen. This is to potentially avoid the YouTube algorithm demonetization, which might be affected by the text on screen. If you still want text, you can turn the automatic captions aka subtitles on and it will be the same as usual, pretty much. Please tell me your feedback about this in the comments, and without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, Assaulted in a Bar Last Night in New Jersey. I was at a bar last night. It was not terribly crowded, but still a decent amount of people. I got up to use the bathroom and walked behind a group of girls. I was about 3 feet away when I felt a hand grab my shoulder. I turned around and was full on slapped across the face by a girl who yelled, "A-hole!" This girl proceeded to scream that I had pinched her butt as I walked by. She yelled that she wanted me thrown out and arrested and to call the police. Here is where it gets interesting. I've been going to this bar for over 7 years. They know me there. The bartender says, "He did not put a hand on you. I saw him walk right past you." She kept screaming, and by this point a good amount of people were telling me, "Just get out of here. Dude, you don't touch a girl. Really, perf? Get the F out of here." At this point, one of her friends, who has been laughing hysterically, chokes out, "Stacy, it was me. I was just kidding with you." Her mood immediately changes and she starts laughing. "Oh my god, you got me so angry." When the crowd had dispersed, I walked over to the girl that had slapped me and said, "Do you have something you want to say to me?" She gave me a disgusted look. No, it was my friend. It was all a joke. Bye. And turned away from me. I walked outside, called the police on my cell phone and had them come to the bar. 2 officers showed up. I gave one my statement and he laughed in my face. "Sounds like you were in the wrong place at the wrong time." People seemed shocked that I insisted on making a police report. After they collected statements, one officer comes up to me. "Sounds like a big misunderstanding. The girl says she thought you grabbed her ass. I mean, can you blame her?" I responded, "For committing aggravated assault? Yes, I can. I was assaulted and she could not even offer an apology. I want her arrested." The cop sighed. "Look, she's 22 years old. She's been drinking. Do you really want to be the guy that causes her to have a criminal record for the rest of her life?" I responded, "She did that when she chose to commit a felony. Yes, I want her arrested." After he tried to guilt me into dropping it a few more times, he went back to his partner and they took the girl into another part of the bar. She came back around 20 minutes later with a paper in her hand and sat back with her friends. The officers told me that they would be in touch and left without arresting her. People kept coming up to me and giving me crap about what a sweet girl she is, how I am a PUSSY for calling the police, how I overreacted, how she did not owe me an apology, etc. I left shortly after. What actions should I take? In light of the officers pressuring me to drop it, I feel like I need to go down to the station and make an additional report. I want to make sure this does not magically get dropped because the officer felt the girl was too pretty to be arrested. And guys, in regards to advice, without even reading the comments in this post, I'm pretty sure you would have been at the minimum told to leave. More likely, you would have been arrested and charged with aggravated assault and maybe be a sex offender. You would be pressed into taking a plea deal in which the prosecutor would have sought to drop a sex offense charge and make it a misdemeanor assault with 5 years probation, anger management, and counseling for drinking and sexual deviant behavior. Don't forget, then it would be on your criminal record and the thousands you paid in fees and lawyer stuff. Then you would have to explain to new friends half awkwardly about what really happened and no one would believe you. Thank God for her friend for speaking up. I would have paid her tap or something. How did you get so lucky? And I am less than thrilled that it takes shit like this to point it out. And guys, I gotta say, I have to totally agree with OP here. It does not matter whether you are a man or a woman. Assault is assault, and if someone slaps you, there will be consequences. Obviously, consequences in this case means calling the police and nothing else. However, I'm curious, do you think this guy went too far or that he is a coward? Let us know your opinion about this situation in the comments. And the next one is an update to the assaulted in a bar last night story. So I thought I would give everyone an update on the situation. For those of you who missed the original post, you can read it here. A few days ago, I retrieved my mail and found a handwritten envelope with my address. I opened it and found the following. Dear OP, I would like to extend my deepest apologies to you for my behavior at the bar. I was out of control and took it upon myself to hit you for something I had judged you guilty of without proof. It was wrong and I am so truly sorry. Please know that I have entered a treatment program and have quit drinking entirely. I have a problem, I know this, and it is up to me to fix it. I feel badly that you were made to feel the consequences of my actions and realize how thoughtless it was of me to not offer up an apology when you approached me. My attorney is attempting to get me a conditional dismissal on the charges as they stand. I know this may not be the outcome that you are seeking, but I swear to you that my actions that night do not represent me. I am one semester away from graduating from university and completing my student teaching. I want to do good in this world and I am truly scared that this will prevent me from doing that. I promise you that I will never lay a hand on another person in this lifetime. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. And now the response from OP. I was floored. My only guess is that she did this against the advice of her attorney. Then I noticed she mentioned charges. I thought there was only one. When I was at the bar last night, my first time in nearly a month, I asked the bartender who had stood up for me if he knew anything further. Apparently, she told the police that she had first asked me if I had grabbed her ass, at which point I laughed in her face, and that is when she slapped me. This was obviously a lie. I am guessing this is why the cops were so reluctant to do anything that night. About a half hour after I left, the girl decided to have a cigarette. She came running back in 10 minutes later, saying to the police as someone had carved the word female dog into the side of her car. Well, the same cops showed back up, she gave another statement and once again blamed me. The bartender then said, "Look, there's an easy way to tell if he did it. We will go in the back and take a look at the outside security camera tapes for the last hour." And yep, the bar has cameras. All of a sudden, the girl wanted to drop it. There was no proof, it is minor anyway. As you can guess, they reviewed the footage and of course she did it right before she ran back into the bar. So she has charges pending for that as well. I am actually considering writing a letter for her, supporting her receiving a conditional dismissal. Under those terms, I don't think she will be able to student teach until about a year and a half from now. I am not out to destroy her life, and if she is genuinely in a treatment program and remaining sober, then she deserves another chance. And guys, interestingly enough, the people in the comments were really wary and did not believe that woman. They said, "Don't buy it, this is not a mistake, she's a liar and a manipulator and she's lying to you to try to manipulate you." Another person said, "What she did was not just some wild oversight or spur of the moment mistake, it was a fairly calculated attempt to ruin your life. Let her learn her lesson or I am worried the next person she decides crossed her won't be as lucky as you." So guys, I'm curious, what is your opinion on this story so far? Do you think that the guy should pursue it even further and potentially ruin this girl's career? Keep in mind, she is striving to be a teacher in the future, so I'm curious what you think about this. Let us know in the comments. And the next one is the final update to the bar story. It has been a while, but I found out some news this weekend that I wanted to share. I was out with some friends last night at another bar when I ran into some of the girls from that group. I noticed a girl staring at me and I realized I knew her from somewhere. Finally she said, "Oh my god, are you the guy that Stacy slapped?" I decided to leave it alone and never responded to the letter I received. I was never asked to testify and I did not go down to the police station to obtain a copy of the report. The girl I spoke with told me the following. Stacy and the other girl, the one who grabbed her, had a huge falling out over the whole thing. They blamed each other and nobody really talked to either of them anymore. Stacy got into a diversion program and she has made a new group of friends through AA and does not really hang out with people outside of the program. She was dropped from the teacher certification program because she had pending charges. They told her she could reapply once her record is clean. Apparently this is when Stacy turned on the friend that grabbed her. The girl I spoke with did not know how long the diversion program is. I hope she sticks with it, and I sincerely hope there's more good than bad that comes from this for her. And guys, I gotta say, the people in the comments are really harsh. One person said, "This person should not be a teacher. She tried to get you arrested for pinching her butt and tried to turn a mob against you when you were innocent. Then she tried to frame you for a property crime. For her final performance, she sent you a letter that explained how sorry she was only in the context of how the consequences of her actions would affect her life, and how, if only you would forgive her, those consequences might not be so devastating. I cannot imagine entrusting my children to her in a classroom where she would wield power over them." And I have to say, these comments do make a lot of sense. So I have to ask you the question, do you think the people in the comments are too harsh on the girl, or did she get what she deserved? Let us know in the comments. And guys, I have to say, this was a crazy chain of events that I did not really expect. However, I'm pretty glad that the person in question, aka the girl, is now in treatment at AA, and I think she will follow this path and improve her life. And the next one is titled, "Wife Fired from Her Job Having an Anxiety Attack. Is there anything that can be done?" My wife was officially diagnosed with depression and anxiety about 2 years ago. Because of her anxiety, she has been a homemaker until recently, when she was prescribed some new medication for her anxiety, which has eliminated most of her anxiety attacks. She decided to start looking for a job because her anxiety had taken a backseat over the past couple of months. She interviewed for a part-time position at a retail chain and got the job on the spot. She has told the management that she has anxiety, but she's being treated for it, and apparently it was not an issue. The district manager has been very impressed with her work ethic since she was hired. She has been working there for about 3 weeks now. She's been extremely proud of her new part-time job, and it has really helped her sense of self-worth. Today, she calls me about an hour into her shift and she is in tears. The store had a new interim manager starting today that was supposed to fill in until a permanent manager finished training. She had an anxiety attack. She told the new interim manager that she was having an episode and that she needed a few minutes to regain her composure. She told me that the interim manager told her to clock out and don't bother coming back. The frustrating thing is, she already has a doctor's appointment today because she wanted to discuss with our doctor ways to preemptively handle potential anxiety attacks so it would not affect her job. I am wondering if this might be an ADA or some other type of violation. I'm not sure if anxiety is covered by any laws, and I'm not sure whether or not anxiety is something that could be reasonably accommodated. Or if it is even worth discussing it with a lawyer. I make enough money from my job to pay the bills. This was just something to get her out of the house and make a little bit of spending money. So it's not like we were relying on her income to make ends meet. Thanks for reading. And guys, in regards to advice, has she ever requested an accommodation in the past about this? Taking a few minutes to regain composure may very well be a reasonable accommodation for this kind of thing. I would consider chatting with a local attorney. Most in this field will offer a free consultation. I would also consider trying to talk to someone higher up the chain first. Maybe a chat with HR will solve the problem without ever needing to get lawyers involved. And guys, please correct me here if I'm wrong, but to me it seems absolutely illegal that you can fire someone because he or she had a panic attack. In my opinion, that is not really something that you can control, and it might come from the stress the boss had put on his employee. Let us know your opinion about this in the comments. And the next one is an update to the wife that got fired from a job for an anxiety attack. And I wanted to give you guys an update. My wife decided she was going to go up the chain of command and possibly HR. She called the store she worked at, and the manager that fired her answered the phone. She asked him 3 times for a number for HR, and he told her that the stores did not have HR. He also tried to tell her that he did not really fire her and that he was just trying to make sure she had time to go to a doctor's appointment. But when she called him out of it, he argued with her and apparently she really is fired or something like that. She pressed him again for an HR number and he gave her a phone number. It was a number to another store, not HR, though she knew that already because it was a local area code. She called the number anyway and it was the store where one of the prior temporary managers worked, one that was fully aware of her anxiety and was a fan of her work ethic. The manager contacted the district manager and said he would call her ASAP. So she gets a phone call from him this morning. He seemed genuinely upset over the situation and said he was going to investigate. He told her that she would not be able to return to work but was welcome to reapply and that the termination would not be an issue if she was rehired. He said he felt like the chaotic state of the store would probably not be a good workplace right now with her anxiety, but he really would like for her to reapply once things are more stable. I asked her if she felt satisfied with this response and if she felt it was genuine and not just someone giving her the runaround. She said yes, she wants to discuss everything with her doctor because she feels like she needs to work on controlling her anxiety better before she starts working again. Her doctor had to reschedule her appointment because of an illness, so she was not able to see him yesterday. And guys, in regards to advice, I would agree, retail situations are usually chaotic at best. A former store manager in the comments said that if he felt an employee was causing a huge disruption, he would ask them to go home and demand an explanation the next day. If there was a legitimate doctor's note that was brought to him, he would not even bother writing them up and just place them on the schedule for the slow shifts. However, in this situation, the other manager was an idiot for firing her outright, and it is good the DM is now involved. Depending on the establishment, he is the one that makes the final hiring/firing decisions as far as associates are concerned. So once she gets it under control and reapplies to a store under that DM's purview, I'm sure things are going to work out. Best of luck to your wife, and I hope that she gets to feeling better. And the last one is the final update to the wife's story. In light of recent events, my wife asked me to give you guys another update since you have all been interested in what has happened and have offered us both legal advice and words of encouragement. This is not a post asking for more advice, just a general update of what has happened since the last post. If you all remember, I mentioned my wife's doctor's appointment being rescheduled to last Monday, the 11th. Well, that morning she received a call for a job interview at a different employer, so she had to cancel that appointment. She was offered the job pending a clear background check. Today is her first day at her new job. Her new job pays her a higher wage and she has more hours. In addition, she is working with a team of employees, so she won't be having to essentially perform the duties of several employees at once. And this ultimately led to her anxiety attack at her last job. Her new boss is aware of her anxiety and it is not a problem. She is planning on bringing documentation from her doctor to be kept in her personal file in case she ever has an anxiety attack on the job, just so she can have all of her bases covered. So it sounds like a happy ending, right? Well, it gets better. Yesterday she went to the store she used to work to buy a few things. One of her favorite co-workers was there and they started talking. Apparently, what happened to my wife was a huge deal and every employee on the shift that witnessed what happened took my wife's side. The manager that hired her was fired. I'm assuming the district manager really did investigate the situation and her former co-workers vouched for her and it resulted in the manager's termination. So to recap, my wife has a new job with better pay and more hours. The manager that fired her from her last job for having an anxiety attack at work was terminated. Karma can be a wonderful thing sometimes. And Ripe Stars, I have to admit, I'm really happy that this horrible manager got fired because he definitely deserved what he has gotten for what he did. However, I'm curious, did you ever have an anxiety attack at work? And if so, did you get punished for it? Let us know in the comments. And guys, unfortunately, we have already reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's content, and please don't forget to give me some feedback about the non-existent text on the screen aside from the automatic YouTube subtitles. This is really important for me because in the future I might have to disable the text completely, aka not putting it in the video anymore, to avoid demonetization. So your opinion in this regard is extremely important. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.